I'm going to be honest, I haven't been too happy with Pokemon lately. I could give smaller example after smaller example, but that would just be delaying the inevitable and talking about what happened with Scarlet and Violet. I was very enthusiastic around the time of launch. Like, I can look back at that time as a moment of nearly limitless optimism. I know why now. It's because the entire hype cycle and launch of Scarlet and Violet didn't feel real. It was so uncharacteristic of Pokemon Company and Game Freak to announce a new set of games, and then in further announcements, break my expectations of what they would be like rather than confirm they would stick to a safe, unambitious status quo. They did deliver what they promised, and while it wasn't without its merits, when I fell off hard. It's like bread. I like bread. It's pretty basic food, but it can taste good, but it's just bread. I can have a little bread and be satisfied by the taste, and be less hungry, but pretty soon I'm going to want more than just bread. But that's all there is. The food developers promised bread, and that's what they're giving me. I keep eating the bread and trying to recapture the same joy as when I was starving for something to eat. The bread tasted so good back then, but now I'm stuffed full of bread by itself, and now my only options are to stop eating or eat more of the same exact bread. At that point, I'd rather stop eating and find something else. Other games were still coming out at a regular interval that I anticipated as much as Gen 9, mind you, including another big open world game that was actually refined and polished. So then, the DLC for Gen 9 finally comes out, and I reluctantly slink back over to Paldea to re-experience the main game, and then part 1 of the DLC. Well, it wasn't mind-blowing from a technical or game design standpoint. I actually was happy I experienced the teal mask. Despite hardly retaining my interest for 10 minutes after I hit the "to be continued" screen, I didn't walk away all negative. I could sense a spark of life in there. I absolutely adored the characteristics, the atmosphere, the lore, the thematic elements of Kitakami, and the story there. It kind of recaptured some of the old magic that I felt was lacking in the main game, at least that's how I felt during my short play session. But by then, it was pretty obvious that Gen 9 as a whole, for me, was a case of diminishing returns. Yeah, I appreciated Teal Mask for the creativity, but I couldn't get around the fact that I no longer found this entire game fun at all to play. This is how I reacted. Hey, the Indigo Disc is out now. It's going to have new features and conclude the story the Teal Mask set up. Go away, maybe later. Hey, you said you wanted to see how it turns out. I don't want to play it right now. Yeah, as it turns out, I wasn't in the mood to eat more bread. Scarlet and Violet may have been exciting in the moment, but this state of the series was unsustainable for me. If Pokemon Company kept rushing out half-baked products, I knew that Scarlet and Violet would be the last thing I would ever buy from them until they showed signs of improving. So, with that being said, Pokemon Day came and went, and first thing in the morning on that day, they had a Pokémon Presents with announcements, as is tradition. I was morbidly curious. What would they do? Announce several new games with release dates, all but confirming their market research shows will give them money for whatever mediocre thing they bake up next? Announce nothing interesting and disappoint us who want at least something notable to celebrate the anniversary of the original Gen 1 games? Well, let's get started. We open with Pikachu in a white dimensional void surrounded by unknown. Why unknown? I don't know. Their purpose is unknown to me. We are then treated to Mr. President at his desk speaking to us about how this series has legacy or something, as if this is an investor showcase and the point of this little meeting is me considering becoming a major shareholder in Pokemon as a brand. No thanks. Unless you've got a Pokénav to hand to me, just get out of here and hit me with some announcements. As we go to Utsunomiya and his trademark artsy minimalist Tim Burton-esque backdrop, he announces that there's 3 new Terra Raid battles coming. Terra Raid events? You don't say! I like how with this infographic they have to specify that the Charizard one is the same one we got close to launch. Like, guys, you don't have to apologize. Nobody's complaining about getting another free Charizard with perfect stats. Just complete the trilogy of battles however you can, and focus on your actual problems. Next up is the obligatory Pokemon Go update. This time it's for the crossover they're doing with the new animated series coming out very soon in the US. Personally, I was done with Pokemon Go. I appreciated what it did for me during the time I played it daily, as it did more to get me outdoors for the sake of just going outdoors more than any other activity did in a long time. But unfortunately, because of it being a free-to-play mobile game, the longer I stuck with it, the more cumbersome it got to manage. Until it got to the point where managing it felt a lot less like casually enjoying an activity and more like filling out paperwork. I still understand the value in a game like this because I did attend the in-person event in Las Vegas a year ago for Hoenn Tour, which was fun. But that was a special I did it kind of thing and not some sign I was getting back into Go for good. But credit where it's due. They're actually coinciding with new media in the franchise, and I don't think human characters have ever appeared in snapshot mode before. But yeah, it's still the same Pokemon Go I know and don't care about anymore. Enough said. Pokemon Sleep. I remember when Pokemon Sleep came out, I thought it was really neat to have a Pokemon app that you're essentially supposed to leave on while you sleep to make progress. Only problem is, I hardly used it because having anything on my phone when I'm trying to empty my head and fall asleep is the last thing I need to do. I just want to make sure my damn alarms actually go off, and that's that. I'd rather fall asleep to podcasts than some free-to-play Pokemon app. Anyways, I don't care about the new content, but this was worth sitting through just because of how charming this little live-action segment was. The only thing wrong with it is this guy's reaction to waking up and seeing a Raikou next to his bed. Why is he so casual and smiling over it? I'd be speechless and possibly horrified if I saw a legendary Pokemon, this big electric dog, next to my real-life bed. Oh yeah, remember you can get 10 Pokebiscuits and 1,000 diamonds by just... God, I hate mobile gaming so much. Speaking of mobile gaming, time for one Pokemon Masters EX. The absolute epitome of the genre. Something I downloaded, opened up once, played through the intro, saw it for what it was, and swore to never let it waste any of my time or money in the future. Which pains me to say because from all the announcements I've seen for this game over the years, it seems to be the most cohesive collection of fan service from across the series. Bringing back this many characters and references, that's fun. But it's a freemium mobile game. Hard no. Well, maybe there's one good thing about this. In Gen 9, Greta, as a champion, absolutely got shafted, being in the unfortunate position where the champion battle of the Elite Four was not the final boss of the game, and therefore felt like just another battle. A mediocre one that everyone and their Pikachu has already complained about enough, but maybe this appearance will do a little bit to push her out of mediocrity as a major character. Still though, who is this game for? They showed a little Soul Silver footage and I'm like, oh yeah, right, I'd rather just play that instead. Immediately killing any hype for the Johto hype. Man, I wish I had more to say. How could I not appreciate when they do deep cuts like Riley and Lucario? Oh, but don't forget to claim your gift of 3,000 gems! Who cares? Mobile gaming sucks and I'm still not playing it. Moving on. Pokemon Cafe Remix! Oh yeah, that game. I don't think I've even thought about this one since they showed Mewtwo in this outfit. The only thing I regret is how last time when I made that joke about Mewtwo killing scientists, is that in doing so, I got distracted from the real elephant in the room, this art style. Dear Lord, what is this art style? Yes, I know it's meant to be stylized and cutesy and look kind of hand-drawn, but am I the only one who finds it a bit off? Like, Uncanny Valley kind of off? I don't know. I mean, I don't mind unique takes on art styles, but I don't know. Art is not my area of expertise, so I can't explain it. I don't mind a cuter take on Pokemon. I mean, every time when I used to boot up Let's Go Eevee, and my Eevee greeted me on the title screen and put their little paws up on the camera, my heart would melt a little bit, but this? I don't know, I wish I could explain it. Pokemon Unite. Now this is an actual game. MOBA games are like the opposite of my tastes, but I have played a little Pokemon Unite just to check it out, and even I can see that it's a fun little game that definitely deserves to exist. From my limited knowledge about MOBAs, it's a more casual take on the genre, which is perfectly fine since the point of this game is to have fun and contribute to your team as your favorite Pokemon, not be a competitive e-gamer or whatever the hell people associate MOBAs normally with. But I have seen people I know get addicted to it, and I am happy it's still getting new content even if I don't play it. So for the last several minutes, all I've done is talk trash about mobile games and apps. So, this might be the biggest M. Night Shyamalan plot twist of the century, But what if I told you the next announcement is something I am actually really excited for? Well, really might be an overstatement, but let's be real here. Pokemon card art is a real treat. I like looking at it. It's why I tried to get into physically collecting them until I realized they took up so much space and cost so much money to get from new packs. This new app they announced looks like the perfect middle ground for me. Opening 2 packs a day is plenty for me. I literally bought packs to experience the fun of opening them and finding out what was inside. Remember how I wanted that Breloom V so badly? Well, since then, I still haven't resumed spending real money on cards. Good. Now I can collect cards digitally, mostly for free, and even if I make an irresponsible decision to spend a few bucks on an extra or two here or there, at least it doesn't have to waste physical storage space where I'm living. It does include an actual card game mode too, but I've already seen some cynical speculation going on that this will be watered down from the actual real card game, especially since they just got the Pokemon Live game going as the replacement for the old online game. Even though from what I've seen, Pokemon Live has not gotten very good reception, just like the game before it. I can't be too cynical about this no matter how hard I try though. The team at Creatures Inc. working on this from top to bottom seem to care about the presentation and polish of the app. In fact, this is the first time Creatures has ever worked on an app like this. And it doesn't seem lazy, considering they're fully taking advantage of the medium and having these 3D immersive dynamic diorama-like art pieces inside of the cards you can look at. If every card, or even 1 in every 5 cards has this feature, then I'm already on board. Seriously, I think the card game has been a huge missed opportunity when going digital. The Game Boy Color game is still a ton of fun to pick up and play on a rainy day, and I can't believe they never continued the series further with each new generation. We didn't even get a sequel outside of Japan. I'm not promising this will be a big deal when it comes out, but I can safely say it does have my attention right now. So just as the presentation was winding down and they said the usual "one more thing" line, I was ready to write this whole presentation off as a big bunch of nothing. Then the trailer started and I saw what looked like design documents, the sketch-like approach, the tall buildings. A few seconds in, and I was already getting spin-off vibes. Then it started transitioning into this, and here goes Pikachu, and I was thinking, oh no, this screams generic low-effort spin-off. But all of a sudden, something interesting happened. It started zooming out into this thing, and the title. I've just started playing through Y version for the first time, so yeah, this is pretty recognizable for me right now. So it was something based on older games, but should we care? Is this going to be good? This is the Pokemon Company. They've practically monopolized the art of letting people down. Then it goes to black, and in a single glorious moment, like a rift in the sky opening up and revealing a beautiful divine sign from above, there it was! Pokemon Legends! Now they had my attention. Then this logo finished fading in, and this Pokemon Presents was suddenly no longer a joke. Wow. They did it. They actually did it. They didn't do anything stupid. They somehow navigated the impossible task of not pushing out new games for the sake of pushing out new games. They didn't announce Gen 10 or low-effort black and white remakes, or a Mystery Dungeon remake of the next Mystery Dungeon games that need to be remade, or something that would be an easy way to fill the void. They announced one new thing with a release date that isn't this year, meaning they're actually taking this seriously. I mean, I don't know yet, no gameplay was shown, but 2025 and no specific day is a good sign. And it's a new Legends game on top of that. Legends Arceus was the best general reception I'd seen a Pokemon game get in a long time from the general public. It was clear that they were onto something good. So for whoever calls the shots to actually recognize and acknowledge that, or if they already planned this long ago to have faith in something that isn't the mainline series or a Pokemon Go crossover, yeah, this is kind of unexpected to see this level of competency from the people making decisions about this franchise. And that logo. Oh, that logo. That glorious logo. Wait, it's not called Pokemon Legends Z? It's actually called Pokemon Legends ZA? What? What the fuck? What is that actually supposed to mean? It's ZA, right? With a dash or a space? Pokemon Legends Z to A? Pokemon ZA. Pokemon ZA. Pokemon ZA. Pokemon Legends ZA. What? Pokemon Legends Arceus didn't exactly roll right off the tongue, but it was a palatable title. Why not Pokemon Legends Z? Simple, to the point, and a clear nod to the vaporware title of Pokemon Z version. They can call it whatever they want as long as the game is good. But that logo though, that is one sick logo. The name might be strange, but the use of those 2 letters to form a piece of iconography like that, it looks so good. There's already a lot of speculation about what will be in the game, but what I'm hoping for, please developers, have some common sense and include the Hisui-only Pokemon in the game so they can at least have one other place to go and not be stuck in single game purgatory. You know, like Wurdir and Ursaluna. Maybe this is too early to get excited, but I don't know. A new Legends game feels a little more sincere at this point than a Gen 10 announcement right now. Like, it's not just riding on the coattails of its predecessors for being the next main game. You know, I'm starting to hate that phrase. Mainline game. What even is a mainline game anymore? Arceus clearly wanted to establish some canon backstory and lore to the entire universe, and it had a battle system close to the one we're used to. By those metrics, it's more of a mainline game than Let's Go ever was. But enough semantics, who cares? If you really want to get technical, they've officially said it's a mainline game, so yeah, for you people out there who say that Legends is a spin-off, you can go stuff it. Just make more games that entertain me and I'll be happy. It can be anything. Let's go Meryl and Larvitar. Or Pokemon Legends Zubat. Pokemon Legends. Team Rocket file their taxes and— oh wait, just give me something good.